The serene beauty of Pahalgam, a popular tourist destination in Indian-administered Kashmir, was shattered on April 22, 2025. A devastating terror attack ripped through the town, leaving 26 innocent people dead and a trail of destruction in its wake. The Indian government was quick to point fingers at Pakistan, accusing its neighbor of harboring and supporting the perpetrators of this heinous act. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visibly shaken and angered, addressed the nation, vowing a swift and decisive response to this act of aggression. In the aftermath of the attack, a palpable sense of anger and fear gripped India. The nation mourned the loss of innocent lives, and the public demanded retribution. Adding fuel to the fire, the Indian government claimed to possess irrefutable evidence linking the attack to Pakistan-based terrorist groups. Pakistan, however, vehemently denied any involvement in the attack, dismissing the accusations as baseless and provocative. As tensions escalated, both nations braced themselves for a potential confrontation, the spectre of conflict looming large over the subcontinent. India wasted no time in launching a diplomatic offensive, seeking to isolate Pakistan on the international stage. India's diplomatic missions across the globe were mobilized to present evidence of Pakistan's alleged involvement in the attack and to garner support for India's right to self-defense. India also launched a concerted effort to expose Pakistan's alleged role as a state sponsor of terrorism, sharing intelligence reports and dossiers with key global players. The international community, however, found itself walking a tightrope, urging restraint from both sides while calling for a de-escalation of tensions. India's diplomatic efforts, however, were met with mixed results. While some countries expressed solidarity with India and condemned the attack, others maintained a more cautious stance, calling for dialogue and restraint. The United States, a key player in the region, found itself in a particularly delicate position. While acknowledging India's right to self-defense, the US also emphasized the need for de-escalation and urged both sides to exercise restraint. China, Pakistan's all-weather ally, stood firmly by its side, dismissing India's accusations as unfounded and provocative. The roots of the India-Pakistan rivalry run deep, entangled in the tumultuous birth of the two nations in 1947. The partition of British India, which created India and Pakistan, was a bloody and chaotic affair, leaving millions displaced and fueling animosity between the two newly formed nations. At the heart of this enduring conflict lies the disputed region of Kashmir, a land of breathtaking beauty coveted by both India and Pakistan. The First Indo-Pakistani War of 1947–48 erupted over Kashmir, setting the stage for decades of mistrust and hostility. The war ended with a United Nations brokered ceasefire, but the underlying dispute remained unresolved. Kashmir was divided between India and Pakistan, separated by a fragile line of control, a scar that continues to divide the region and fuel tensions. The conflict over Kashmir has become a defining feature of the India-Pakistan relationship, casting a long shadow over any attempts at reconciliation. The two nations have gone to war twice more over Kashmir in 1965 and 1971. The 1965 war ended in a stalemate, while the 1971 war resulted in a decisive victory for India and the creation of Bangladesh. However, these wars did little to resolve the underlying dispute over Kashmir. The region has remained a flashpoint, witnessing numerous skirmishes, cross-border shelling, and terrorist attacks. The presence of armed groups on both sides of the line of control, often accused of receiving support from the opposing country, has further complicated the situation, making any prospect of a peaceful resolution seem elusive. Adding to the complexities of the conflict is the rise of religious nationalism in both India and Pakistan. In India, the rise of Hindu nationalism under the Bharatiya Janata Party has led to a more assertive stance on Kashmir, with the government revoking the region's special status in 2019. In Pakistan, religious groups have long played a significant role in shaping public opinion on Kashmir, often exploiting the issue to mobilize support and advance their agendas. The confluence of these factors has created a volatile mix, making dialogue and compromise even more challenging. The recent escalation in tensions between India and Pakistan has been accompanied by a dangerous game of military brinkmanship. Both countries have been engaged in a rapid modernization of their armed forces, acquiring advanced weapons systems and bolstering their military capabilities. This arms race has raised concerns about the potential for a catastrophic conflict, particularly given the nuclear capabilities of both nations. India, with its larger economy and defense budget, has been at the forefront of this military modernization drive. In recent years, India has acquired advanced fighter jets such as the French Rafale and the Russian Su-30 MKI, as well as sophisticated air defense systems, including the S-400 from Russia. India has also been bolstering its naval capabilities, acquiring new warships and submarines to assert its dominance in the Indian Ocean region. These acquisitions reflect India's growing military might and its determination to counter what it perceives as threats from Pakistan and China. Pakistan, while facing economic constraints, has not been a passive observer in this arms race. Pakistan relies heavily on its all-weather ally, China, for its military hardware. In recent years, Pakistan has acquired advanced fighter jets from China, including the JF-17 Thunder and the J-10C, to bolster its air force. Pakistan has also acquired sophisticated air defense systems from China, such as the HQ-9 PIM-40, to counter India's air superiority. These acquisitions, while driven by security concerns, have also fueled the arms race in the region. Both India and Pakistan have also invested heavily in expanding their missile arsenals, including ballistic and cruise missiles. These missiles provide both countries with the capability to strike targets deep inside each other's territory, raising the stakes in any future conflict. Furthermore, both countries have been developing their cyber warfare capabilities, recognizing the growing importance of this domain in modern warfare. This dangerous combination of conventional and unconventional military capabilities has created a highly volatile environment where even a small miscalculation could have devastating consequences. The escalating tensions between India and Pakistan have sent ripples of concern across the international community, raising fears of a wider conflict with global ramifications. The involvement of major powers like the United States and China adds another layer of complexity to the situation, turning a regional dispute into a potential flashpoint in the global geopolitical landscape. The United States, traditionally a close ally of Pakistan, has been increasingly engaging with India in recent years. This shift in US foreign policy is driven by a number of factors, including India's growing economic and military might, as well as shared concerns about China's assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific region. However, the US also recognizes the importance of maintaining stability in South Asia and has been urging both India and Pakistan to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. China, on the other hand, has emerged as Pakistan's staunchest ally, providing diplomatic, economic and military support. China's close ties with Pakistan are driven by a number of factors, including shared strategic interests in countering India's influence in the region, as well as economic considerations related to the China-Pakistan economic corridor. China's support for Pakistan, however, has raised concerns in India, which views the relationship with suspicion. The international community, including the United Nations, has called for restraint and dialogue between India and Pakistan. However, the deep-rooted mistrust and historical baggage between the two countries make it challenging to initiate meaningful talks. The risk of miscalculation and escalation remains high, particularly given the volatile situation on the ground and the ever-present threat of terrorism. The international community faces a delicate balancing act in navigating the India-Pakistan tensions. While acknowledging India's concerns about terrorism emanating from Pakistan, there is also a need to impress upon both sides the importance of restraint and dialogue. The stakes are incredibly high, as any escalation of the conflict could have devastating consequences, not just for the region,